and welcome back to the channel. I am an amateur who started building guitars during the pandemic. Follow me as I take you along my building process. This is the second episode of this build series. We continue our work on the neck and headstock of this guitar. This guitar is a prototype of a new shape that I designed last winter. It's a modern style guitar that inspired by the new trend of headless guitar. We will work on the body in a future episode. Today we will focus on the neck. This neck is made out of a sugar maple blank that I made out of a log that I harvested and dried 3 years ago. As you saw in the first episode, the headstock plate is made out of a highly figured bird's eye maple. It's the same material as the top of the body of the guitar. The fretboard will be made out of a blank of a black limba. The contrast between the pale maple and the dark limba should elevate the look of this guitar. The first part of today's job is to plane down the excess part of the headstock plate to make the neck completely flat. For this task, I use my favorite end plane, my Stainless Sweetheart low-angle jack plane. I started using time-lapse in this video to try and keep the length of the final video under 15 minutes. The process of building a guitar takes so much time and I don't want you to get bored watching parts that are a slow process. I want to try those time-lapse and see if you like it. Please leave a comment to give me feedbacks on that part. Once the fretboard side of the neck is flat, I used it as reference to make sure the back side is perfectly parallel and flat. As it is right now, our neck blank is too thick. After measuring all the part of the neck, I marked everything on the side to be sure to take material out of the right part of the neck. This step must be precise. To be able to take off material of this neck, I first need to clamp it up my bench top. For this task, I use the best trick I ever learned that is so useful for woodworking. This trick is the tape and super glue trick. I have learned it from Ben Crow of Crimson Guitars. His videos are the reason I started building guitars in the first place. Please check his channel if you never have before, and I promise you, you will not regret it. This trick is simple. You apply tape on both parts you want to clamp together. I use cheap painter tape and it works very well. You then apply super glue on the tape of one of the two parts and I use accelerator on the other side. You just have to press the two parts together for about 5 seconds and they are stuck. It won't move unless I pry them apart, as you will see me do later in this video. Now that the neck blank is stuck in place, I will use my plunge water with a simple sled jig to plane down the thickness of the neck. This jig is as simple as it can be. I made mine out of scraps of MDF I had laying around. It's a simple U shape. A single plate of MDF put higher with small side legs. I routed a small hole on the top part to let the rotor bit pass through. This is the same idea as a flattening rotor sled we see often online for flattening board when you don't have a thickness planer. I bring the bit down to a level where I will take out about 1/8 of an inch of material. Don't take more material each pass than this if you do it at home. More material could create kickback on the rotor and that could be very dangerous. Once everything is set up, I proceed of routing the whole neck and thickness it to the desired dimension. Once this is achieved, I send the neck to take out the rotor marks. The first thickness that I wanted to achieve is the thickness of the neck block and the headstock volute. I will have to go deeper for the part of the neck between those 2 points. I started by marking the lines that I need to cut between and got back to thicknessing with my rotor sled. This part is slow and take times. To give you an idea of how long it took me, I had about 47 minutes of footage of this part. This step is really messy. The rotor is an amazing tool, but it creates so much wood chip all around. I made sure to vacuum often the top of the workbench with my shop vac and did a big cleanup after I finished the job. final part was to clean up the end of the truss rod channel that was now covered by the headstock plate we installed in the first episode. For this task, I used my chisels. I carved carefully the top part of the truss rod channel. If you take your time and have sharp chisels, this job is fairly easy. After a few minutes of work, I had the channel perfectly cleared out. Then the truss rod was fitted back in its place. This will conclude episode 2 of this build series. I want to thank you very much for watching until the end of this video. Please subscribe to the channel and like the video, it will help me so much with the YouTube algorithm. Leave comments if you have questions or suggestions for my future videos. I will read every one of them. Stay tuned for episode 3, in which we will start to work on the fretboard. We have to draw fret lines, to drill the fret markers, fill them with epoxy, and much more. Thanks again and see you in the next video.